Well, next we come to Jillian Bullock, who is the LinkedIn Ninja, and I really am looking forward to Jillian's presentation. I think hers and Jamie's tying quite nice because they are, while they're online, I think they are very separate platforms. And having Jillian here to talk specifically about LinkedIn and only LinkedIn, I think is a really good sort of tie into the general overview that Jamie gave in terms of online stuff. So I'm really looking forward to Jillian's her presentation. So no matter what business you are in, learning how to use LinkedIn as a marketing tool is a must. Now, Jillian is a LinkedIn ninja, and she's going to talk to us today about how to leverage and increase your influence and encourage customers to connect and buy from you on LinkedIn. So, Jillian, I'll turn it over to you. Thanks very much.
Okie dokie. Thank you, Joel. All right, let me start with sharing my screen and we will take it from there. Okay, so yes, LinkedIn Ninja Down Under, which is actually not just a cool sounding name. It's actually the name of the certification I had. And I've been in and around doing LinkedIn for 12 years now. So sometimes people say, if Jillian doesn't know something about LinkedIn, it wasn't worth knowing. So I like that one. So I've pulled this down to the 3 biggest mistakes that people make on LinkedIn to give you some hands-on value. So if your phone is handy, grab your phone because we're going to do a couple of things and check a couple of things live while we're here. So I hope you like hands-on stuff. So if you are not on LinkedIn, if there is anybody here that's not on LinkedIn, this is what you're missing out on, just to give us a start. So there's 690 million people on LinkedIn. It's probably moved up a little since March, but LinkedIn only lets us know every 15 million. So it's 690 million. Now there's 9 billion impressions weekly happening on LinkedIn. So huge amount of content going out, but that's actually only going out from 3 million people regularly. So that's a huge amount of people that are not putting anything on LinkedIn, which of course is great for people such as the Shire Chambers to actually start being more active and getting a lot more cut through. So if you're curious to know how many Australians that is, or any other country that they've kind of listed on this little slide that came from LinkedIn themselves, there's 11 million members now in Australia. So there's only about 13 million full-time employees in Australia. So that's pretty high. We're mostly there. Even my own doctor is on LinkedIn, yet he hasn't sort of logged in for the last 10 years or so, but he's on it. So he's not one of those active members that are doing regular content, but that's fair enough because he's a doctor, right? Okay, so have you ever Googled your name? So this is a little bit of a tie-in, I guess, with Jamie. I am not an expert in Google. There is no Google Ninja in my title at all. In fact, I was writing copious notes on that SEO stuffing because I know nothing about it. But with Google, if you go and Google your first name and surname, have a look to see where your LinkedIn profile is listed. Now, if you've got a well-optimized LinkedIn profile, it should be within the top 5, hopefully top 3. But if you're looking up your name and it's some dude from Uzbekistan that you've never heard of, then there's a few things more that you could be doing. If you've got a very common name, like, John Smith or something like that, then there's a lot more that we need to do to get you on, on the front page under your own name. So I'd love to know after this is finished, actually, if anybody was not on the first page of Google. So maybe just have a look while we're doing it. So 57% are viewing your LinkedIn content on their mobile device. It went up, it does go up at certain times, like when people are commuting and so forth. So that's a good one to think of, because if you're posting content, is it easy to read and view on a mobile? If you even scroll through, if you open the app as I'm talking and actually scroll through the home feed, do you think that some of them are easy to read on a mobile, or do you think they're quite hard and you kind of get switched off because it's just too hard to read? So keep that in mind when you're posting. So 94% of B2B marketers use LinkedIn. 94%. Okay. Yes, you can do this if you're in the B2C space, but there are other platforms that you get a quicker ROI for, like perhaps Facebook and Instagram and things like that. But 94% in the B2B space are on there. So LinkedIn's content and how much people are actually engaging and increasing is been 50% year on year. But here's some extra little ones that you might be interested in. So during lockdown, as they called it, so when we didn't really officially go into lockdown, but 55% increase in activity on LinkedIn was happening. So now we're back down, slumming it, if you like. We're only at an increase of 26% right now, while it's starting to be eased off around the world in the places that it's being eased off in. So it's still massive increases. There's been a lot of changes since Microsoft took over in 2016 in June. So hence, they've actually made it easier. They've written a lot of cool algorithms. A lot of those algorithms I explain on my content on LinkedIn. So if you like getting really analytical about algorithms, then go and check it out over there. But it's a lot of opportunity right now on LinkedIn with people not having their boss right here over their shoulder. What are you up to right now? So they're sort of perusing on LinkedIn and engaging and that sort of thing. So it's heaps of opportunity. Okay, so there is a way of indexing your content when you do it properly through LinkedIn. And according to TechCrunch, 18.1 to be exact, in case there's any bookkeepers here, or any people that are, what are they, high S's, I think, high C's in the disc profiling, like all those really small details. So 18.1% of traffic when people are looking for content, they go and Google it, let's say, they'll say they're not coming through LinkedIn, they're Googling it, and if you've indexed it properly, that link comes over to what you've written on LinkedIn. So you might be sitting there thinking, oh, people don't really look for content on LinkedIn, surely. Well, let's say they don't. It can be Googled and they can get your content on LinkedIn through Google. So there's a really big relationship there now. Lots more opportunity. Okay, so here we go. I have a presentation which is the 7 biggest mistakes people make on LinkedIn, or business owners make, but I've narrowed it down to 3, and the most important ones, I feel, generalizing, okay? So LinkedIn is your silent salesperson. So if you go and click on your profile and check it out, do you have the words something like duties and responsibilities? Or is your about section starting with, for the last 25 years, I've done X, Y, Z? Now that's great, but that's a resume. So you need to have something there that actually says what you do and how you change people's lives. They come to you with a pain point, a problem, and how you solve this and take their pain away. Nobody likes being in pain. Okay, so how do you solve this for people? Not what duties and responsibilities and all the different job history you've had. If you're in business and not looking for a job, then your LinkedIn needs to actually be your silent salesperson. Now, if you get a lot of offers from HR recruiters trying to headhunt you, that's a really big telltale sign that you're being picked up for resume speak. So if you're sick of HR people trying to recruit you, then that's what's going on with your LinkedIn profile. Yep. And that one I want. Okay, so the number 2 biggest mistake that I see business owners that make on LinkedIn is the old saying, you know, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So LinkedIn as a whole is quite boring. It's very black and white, and they've chucked in a little bit of blue to match their logo. And that's it. It's extremely boring. Okay, so you can make your profile come alive with images. Now, if we use Jamie's example of bookkeepers, you might be thinking, well, how the heck do you put bookkeeping into an image? Now, you may have a nice office space. That could be an image. You might be also a speaker. That could be an image. You may also have a video that you've already done on your website, which is like your corporate video with you walking in slow-mo at the beginning and all that sort of stuff, right? It works. If you don't have a video, there just so happens to be a young Paul on this call that could maybe perhaps help you with that. Who'd have thought? So that can all bring your profile alive. And going back to picture worth 1,000 words. Okay. Now, bookkeepers as well, you can actually go over to Canva and turn an image into what you actually do. You know, we are tax specialists, and actually put it there in print. Something like that. There's a lot of options if you use your imagination and you know that you need to bring your profile alive. Okay, so the number one biggest mistake I see people making on LinkedIn is they're not actually trying to find the needle in the haystack. And yes, that's a very big needle. But I use that very big needle and I can't move it. So if anybody knows how to do this in a presentation, I want to get the eye of the needle in there. But anyway, you can imagine the top of the needle, right? So, and that's what LinkedIn does. It's actually a 690 million pieces of hay, and you can narrow it down literally to one person. So if you have a target market, say you want to work with, you know, fitness first, right? So you've got some product, service, whatever, that we can work with all the fitness first franchises, but you want to find the procurement manager. You can literally do that on LinkedIn. So it's the big needle in the huge, humongous haystack of LinkedIn. Okay. So if you're sitting there going, well, where the hell do you do that? So grab your phone again, go to the app and open it up on the home, which is literally a little house. Okay. And there is a search bar at the top. That's how you find it. Okay. So you start in there and you say procurement manager, and then you start using the different filters, and you can pick a company like Fitness First and then go from there. They might be in Sydney, they might be in Melbourne. You might go, well, I'm sure they're here somewhere. Let's just put the filter of Australia. And then you're literally finding that needle in the haystack. Okay. Now, additionally from there, this is what I see as the problem that people don't do. And COVID is a brilliant time to do this, because you don't have to start making excuses why you don't want to travel into the city on the train and sit there in the train for an hour and 10 minutes and try and do some work on the train just to go and have a coffee. Okay. So you've got to follow people up and have these virtual coffees. So you get the fitness first person, you start corresponding with them, following up, and offer a virtual coffee. Now, non-COVID times, just by the way, it's a really bad idea for your older gentleman to try and make an appointment and ask somebody for a coffee who's a younger woman. I guarantee you'll get a no. Get away from me, you pervert. Okay. It happens a lot. And when I work with older gentlemen, I'm very much, if you're talking to anybody that's sort of a woman that's kind of 40 or less, then you have to offer virtual first. Just a little tidbit there. Okay. So on that search bar, I'm going to show you another extra little tip. Now, if anybody does these presentations, you do them for your own business, all that sort of thing, get your QR code. All right, I'm going to show that to you now, because you can actually get everybody in your presentation to take a photo of it, scan it, and connect with you on LinkedIn. And I'm going to do that right now with you. Okay, so that search bar, there's 4 tiny little QR codes. Okay, that's the one, Jamie. All right, and you click on those tiny, tiny little barcodes at the end of the search bar. Okay, and there's literally, it comes up as scan. So you can, that's it, Paul. You can actually hold that over my QR code over there, and it'll bring up my profile directly. So if you would like to have a chat with me and I can look at your profile, I can answer some questions one-on-one. You're having a problem with X, Y, and Z and you just can't work it out. Let's jump on a discovery call, and you can either book into my calendar, which is that Calendly link at the bottom there, or you can come over to LinkedIn. Now you may see that mine says follow, but if you go to the more ... if we're not already first connections, which I am mostly with people in the Shire, but if we're not, you can go through the more and ... and actually go to where it says connect. Okay, and then we can book in a time and have a chat. So for yourself, it's a really, really easy one to do. Get your QR code. So where you scanned me, the one opposite says my code. You click on that, literally take a little screenshot of your phone and then send that to your computer or however you want to upload it. And then you can just add this on your own stuff and get people to connect with you because they've heard your presentation, they've heard your meeting, they've heard whatever it was. Why not connect with them? Grows your network. So that is me, my friends. All done.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Jillian. That was some really very helpful tips. I use LinkedIn a little bit and had no idea about that QR code. So that little tip in itself is worth a lot. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate it.
No problem. If anybody's B2C that has like a shop front or something like that as well, especially if it's closed right now, you can actually put that QR code on your window or on your desk or whatever. And if people need to go, if you need to go to talk to, you know, the business manager or something, you need to leave people at your desk for a while, you just put a heading there and say, connect with me on LinkedIn, and they can scan your code right there.
Awesome.